Check this.
Geometry Dash is an addicting game where the point of the game is to get from point A to point B, with obstacles such as spikes, monsters, and other things to avoid. Geometry Dash is heavily inspired by the Impossible game, and you don't really need to be explained how. I've only played Geometry Dash for a year, and I've gotten the taste of what it is all about. The game began a huge community with new opportunities to get creative and talented, whether it be the level editor or just playing them. Although the community and the people around it seem nice and comfortable to be in, it's not. It's not. Ever since 2.0 has been released in Geometry Dash, everyone has to join the bandwagon and start to pull Genie down by demotivating Robtop. There's a lot of flaws with the community itself, but the three main things I want to talk about is the creators, content creators, and the players. Another thing I want to talk about is the aftermath of GD, and where some or most people head on to. I'm gonna point this out that this problem doesn't refer to nearly everyone, but some. With every new update, now there's new possibilities into getting a star-rated level, which sound good at first, but think of it this way. At this point, half the features levels on Geometry Dash is unplayable on mobile, even when low D2 mode is activated. I use an iPad mini too to test out some levels, and sure enough, it lags. It's highly frustrating for levels with a high object stack to make its way onto the feature list. I mean, don't get me wrong, they're beautifully crafted and are amazing to see them, but on the level editor, they should have enough objects to reach the object limit counter instead of having to make the game unplayable to others. Effort in levels is one thing, but it's another thing to put too much effort into another level. Some comments I read, like, can't even play because it's too laggy. Sure, you can definitely say that there are a lot of bad rated levels, and sure, they kinda look like they put no effort at all, but comparing that to Robtop's level standards, they're not bad at all. I think the creators are just pushing up the limits of what counts as a feature level and what doesn't. Also, most of the players on Geometry Dash don't even get creator points because they, of course, don't get a star rated level. If they do put effort, they still complain that they're labeling themselves as a unknown creator. While I do see some levels that are incredibly amazing, you shouldn't even complain that you have creator points. Instead, you should attempt to get that level you've been working on for months and actually get it rated or improve yourself over time. There are many ways into getting a level rated, like joining a mod livestream and request your ID over there. Stop trying it to create hate just because you make a good level that wasn't featured. There are also players that support you and can help you on how to improve on. There are also people that are backlashing and creating drama out of levels for no reason whatsoever. Levels like Buff This by Boy the Cones didn't need to receive all the hate just because it's a 1 minute straight flying level that's decorated. And levels like Black Blizzard by CrazyMan50 definitely didn't need to stir controversy and leak certain parts just to get amounts of views. Drama doesn't need to be played in GD anywhere because like how memes die, same goes for controversy. Now, I am not the best GD player in the world, nor am I the best in mobile, but seeing how I beat 96 demons on mobile should make myself worthy of making these types of arguments. Now, remember when Deco used to be considered one of the hardest demons of all time? Yeah, me neither. Over time, levels, especially hard levels on Geometry Dash, tend to get easier now that harder levels are topping off each other, which is a minor problem to me. But hey, you can't really fix it at all, can you? There are definitely going to be players and creators that are competing against each other to see which demon is going to be the hardest demon that would change GD forever. This is actually a good thing, considering now it would bring the hype for GD and keep rising up. I just wanted to point out a flaw. But anyways, the reason why I'm referring players on this topic specifically is because most players are heading towards PC, which Geometry Dash used to be only on mobile. Now that most players are heading on PC, there's no doubt that Geometry Dash is going to get easier, especially with 144Hz monitors. In case you do not know what hertz are, Google states that hertz are essentially improvements that depicts how objects move frequently. This means that 144Hz players can be able to straight fly easily with no problem at all. On the other hand, mobile players are going to have a tougher time with this 60Hz touchscreen. This is kind of a big deal with players such as Pakoski, Kinetic Frost, and a few other players. On top of that, hackers are getting worse on Geometry Dash. Before 2.0, this is no big deal of a problem and it's really common. But nowadays it's getting worse and worse, and they're moving into being content creators. Speaking of which... Hackers, the most common problem of any game. Geometry Dash is possibly one of the more toxicated hackers I've ever seen. They try, and I mean try, to find some extreme demons that's currently popular, try to hide the fact that they didn't completely legit, and claim that they did, which what I see is pure insults to the professional players that actually beat levels legit. Far worse, whenever players see an exposed video about them, they quote-unquote try to hide them by blaming such excuses and making death levels to the people that they hate. It's really disgusting to see the community go that far. However, they tend to prove this by recording themselves. Now, you may ask, but Electrify, since they record themselves playing levels, aren't they completing the legit? Oh, silly you, that's what they want you to think. You can clearly tell in videos that they often use no-clip, random cuts, just to make it seem legit. All these players, except for a few like Cyrillic, Boy the Cones, and Noctify, deserves to get banned off of GD immediately. No one wants to see someone no-clip Bloodbath or Cataclysm. It's like eating cereal and milk, but it's pre-chewed. It's okay to hack a level just for fun, but it's better if you actually try to beat the level yourself, instead of attempting to no-clip the level and having someone find out about it. It ruins the level, you, and everyone else. Another complaint I want to make is that YouTubers like Partition and forget it. It's a dead clickbaiter. You already know who he is. Who just generally puts gameplay videos and pretty much it. A clickbaity feel for the title and thumbnail too. You can do whatever you want on your channel, and I respect that. But honestly, you should spice things up, like what Flub, Chris Credible, and even Vibrant does in his videos. You can't really just put up a gameplay with a featured demon and slap a tire on it. Oh wait. Now this has to be the biggest Geometry Dash problem yet. Robtop can only be dependent and will always remain dependent. Robtop as a dependent developer barely has time to separately rate several levels and have time to watch people admire the game and have time to work on the new 2.2. This is the reason why hackers are everywhere. This is why everyone isn't as hype on 2.2 nowadays, and this is why Geometry Dash is dying. Robert Topola, or Robtop, your game isn't like 1.9 where your community is small. You have a big fan base around GD, and you need to branch out your work so that Geometry Dash can keep being active. If I were you, I would make other mods rate whether the level should have stars or not, and hire another independent worker to help you on 2.2. The creator for Dashy Square stated that he was working for Robtop, but it wasn't officially announced. Now that 2.0 has been around, Robtop has been getting even more or less motivated, with having to clear up more problems like no clips, hack levels, hackers, and even less hype on the new update. Your most successful game is dying only because you can't keep up on your own work. It's you against millions. It's time to start a change for the better. Find a partner that you need. It could be a trustworthy hacker like MGhost or a great developer. This could solve many issues like banning most hackers, new constant updates, and generally repairing the damage that the community has done. People are constantly trying to break down GD, and the only person who can fix it is the person who started it all. Hopefully this would solve all problems, but for now, we shall remain silent. Overall, GD, a high demand for a community, is gradually slowing down due to things like hackers, clickbaiters, mobile player struggles, PC's advantage, high object hacks, and most importantly, Robtop's inactivity. If Geometry Dash didn't come close to dying, then I'm sure that most players would stick onto other rhythm games called Osu, considering some GD players have already quit it and moved on to it. On the other hand, others have been moved into FPS games like CSGO and the incredibly addicting game Fortnite. We all know GD is soon dying, and all of this can be resorted in some way, and the community can naturally go back to normal if we do our part. Notice how my channel isn't just Geometry Dash content, it's also music. That's because I'm aware that Geometry Dash is dying, and I'm branching out in case it does. Over time, Robtop would soon look at us and do the same. Let's admit, Robtop hates us nowadays because there's certain people in the community trying to steal his identity through online sources and doxing. One person can go as far as to hack into Robtop's account and leak his family's Facebook account. You can't keep up with supporting controversial people like this and letting it go like it's normal. We need to go back into where everyone was nice. 1.9